Please welcome Kjell Hegstad.
Thank you. Let me see if we got all the devices hooked up here. 1, 2, 3. So, unlike Yuri, I didn't have to watch someone play Joule for 10 or 11 hours. I only had to watch them for like 5 or 6 hours because I flew from the East Coast. So, I'm a little bit better off, perhaps. I did get here yesterday. And I'm also getting very tan from the awesome weather, so thank you. But I want to do a quick intro, and then I'll get into the thank you part. My brother says hello. Hello. And he really wanted to be here and code with you guys, but unfortunately he was not able to travel this weekend. For real, this is what my mom thinks I do for a living. You know, and she may be right, and this is what my friends think I do for a living. Think I have fun, party all the time, and this is what you think I do for a living, perhaps, since I grew up in Norway. And, you know, we don't have happy hours, we have angry hours, as I think. And this is what I think I do. I think I'm pretty cool, but it's only in my little head. But really, this is what I do for a living, all right? This is 6, 7 hours of my day where you swear either at a tablet or a phone or computer or colleagues. But in all seriousness, I've been with ING Direct for 8 years. It was, if you hear some references to ING Direct, and then sometimes I may say Capital One, here's why. ING Direct is a global institution owned by ING Group, but they were sold a year ago to Capital One. So we are now part of Capital One, but it's not complete. The integration hasn't happened. So legally, we're Capital One, but in reality, the transition hasn't happened. So is that cool? It really doesn't matter to you, but it's just, if I say Capital One or ING Direct, this is why. But I want to thank everyone here, especially Thomas Tadas from the App Camp. Thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate it. And I think we're going to have a great couple days. I'm going to be around, so tomorrow is your big day. If you want to grab me, mentoring, or in the morning or afternoon, whatever, I'm here till Sunday morning. My flight's at 6 o'clock. Take advantage of it. I want to cover 3 things for you guys. It's going to be more like a playbook, because you don't want to listen to a middle-aged, white, old guy talking in front of you, right? So it's going to be a little playbook on what works in terms of the customers. And so when I say market, it covers customers, regulation, you may be dealing with it. And then the biggest portion is going to be in the middle, which is my passion. It's going to be about design, right? Mobile design. And then at the end, we'll talk about a little bit about the future. So the idea is that it's going to give you at least a platform or an understanding perhaps of what I think will help you be successful. And we all know success can be very different. For someone, it's money. For others, it's better neighborhood. It's more free time. So you have to define your own success. But in terms of a corporate environment, I think these 3 items are pretty key. Cool? So basically, I don't know about you, but this is a pretty big number. So this is what the number of app stores, I think Yuri mentioned 25 million, and these numbers are coming in so fast so that, by next week it's probably 40 billion. But this is from the App Store as of the last Apple earnings report 2 weeks ago, where they had 35 billion downloads, from the Apple App Store only. then you have other stores, right? You got carriers having their own stores, you got Play Store, you got many other stores. As you know, it's big for you to maybe more interesting, okay, how am I going to monetize it, right? So who's going to pay me? So out of that, these are the number of apps as of last year. So if you want to take 20 billion and say that, you know, roughly 10 to 15% is paid for, that's probably a decent number to keep in mind. But moving forward, that percentage will probably have to increase because a lot more companies are doing the freemium model, right? Which is kind of drugs, right? Hey, have a little something for free, and then later you're gonna get hooked, and I'm gonna give you more. So I'm your mobile dealer. If you need stuff, come see me. Now this is the money that was paid out from Apple to their developers, right? Again, this was 2 weeks ago. So it's a pretty decent amount of money. I don't know about you. I'll take that check any day. I think I can spend it in Old Town Vilnius, all of it. I could have used my own app here because I have this app. This is just to demonstrate how this can be, how mobile is everywhere. Just in the medical genre in the Apple App Store, there are almost 8,000 medical apps. 1 in 5 people have a medical app of sort. Medical could be a fitness app, it could be, you know, for your own health or whatnot. So say within the fitness medical category. And I'm using this. It takes my blood pressure, because you remember the other screen that said WTF? You know, you have to keep your keep your blood pressure in sync, you know, when you're working with your colleagues. This, by the way, takes your blood pressure, and then it just emails it to my doctor right away. So he has it. So, and then I'm coming from a bank, and I know you guys are thinking banking. I'd rather go and somewhere else tonight because it's, you know, 7:30 and it's Friday night. So, you know, screw this guy. I'm gonna go have fun. And I understand. With ING Direct, what we did in 2000 when we launched in the US, there was 9,672 banks in the country. In Lithuania, there are 18 chartered and 3 or 4 operating, so I think a total of 23 financial institutions. But in the US, it was over 9,000. Americans didn't need another bank. Who the hell would launch another bank and be number 9,763? So what we said was, we want to be simple. We want to offer financial services, but be extremely simple. We want to simplify the banking experience. If we can't get you into a savings account in 2 minutes, then we messed up. That's about the time it should take to buy a cup of coffee and have a sip. So that was our mission. Lead Americans back to savings by simplifying financial products. So that's why I think I have something to share about the simplification of an industry that, just like you, I'm not a banker, look at me. Do I look like a banker? No. That was handy. I'm a bouncer. My background is I was a bouncer for 5 years and I played semi-pro soccer. I know it doesn't show, but it's true. And I worked in technology. I lived in Silicon Valley for a while and worked for a lot of technology firms. So, but it's because of the technology understanding and business background that I'm here. I was hoping that the government folks have they left, or should I really say what I think about that? Assuming the Prime Minister is still here. So the regulatory environment can mean different things. It can mean at a high level, the government. It can mean at the medium level, maybe the carriers have policies and procedures, right? And at the bottom level, the App Store may have restrictions. Like in the US, you've got to sign export documents, you've got to make sure you don't export it to Iran and the axis of evil, right? Many other countries. So it can be from government to, call it, operators, right? Providers, content providers, to the store, to even local, right? So when I talk regulatory, that's what I'm referring to. And what we do at ING Direct, we have all those elements there. We have regulators from the federal government, right? We have 40 regulators in our building every day. 40. I love it. But I didn't want to say it on here. So what we have learned to do is to work with them, right? Because it's needed, right? We are a regulated financial institution trying to take care of people's money. So we have to comply. And what we've learned to do is, I'm going to cover that in a couple of slides where I talk about how we work with the regulators, internal as well as external. Internal, you can add on security, right? We're a pure digital bank, right? If you don't know how to bank with us digitally, you're not for us. So security for us is extremely critical. We cannot mess up on security. If we mess up once, we're out of business, pretty much. So security is like an underlying theme for us. So where we started, just as a quick background, I ran the website for a while. Again, we have 8 million customers. I own the website, basically design, functionality, etc. So I work with all the lines of businesses. And then I built a website for kids. We gave back to the community. We built a great website for kids called Orange Kids. And it teaches kids about finance. It was non-branded, so it was half game and half education. You know, and I did that for a couple of years, and then the last 2.5 years I focused on the mobile channel for ING Direct. So what we said 2 years ago was, we need to put mobile first. If we're going to be a pure digital player, we need mobile first. What that means is, whenever a new project comes up, we need to think mobile first, and sometimes it may be the only thing. We may say, you know what, this feature, this project is only mobile. And forget the desktop, right? So what that means is everyone is walking around and thinking, okay, have we checked off mobile? Because Kjell is going to get mad if we don't check off the mobile checkbox. Then we had to change our platform, and I'll get into that next. And then we're also looking at the future, and that's going to be the last 10 minutes of my presentation. It's going to talk about APIs, and one of the reasons I'm here, to work with you guys on conceptualizing a developer zone so that we can take advantage of that and get us into the future. At the end of the day, we don't care whether the customer checks their balances or pay their bills, right? It could be at the fridge, it could be in the car, it could be on their phone, on TV, etc. Like, why would I not be able to just throw my session, if I'm on my phone, throw it on TV because I have AirPlay? I should be able to do it, assuming all the security issues are taken care of, right? But technically, why would I not? So that's kind of the idea, is that you should be able to bank anywhere, service yourself everywhere. So we have an incredible appetite internally from all the lines of businesses. So think a bank, right? We have the mortgage business owner over here. We have an auto loan person over here, right? And then we have a savings, head of savings over here, deposits, right? And then so we have 6 or 7 lines of businesses, and all those business owners are coming to me and say, hey, I need some new stuff in the mobile channel. Come on, help me out. So we have an incredible appetite. They are using their roadmaps, and they're coming and saying, hey, come on, Kjell, get up to speed and help me out. So, you know, so then I take all their requests, and I try to prioritize them and put them in a quarterly format to say, okay, this is what my mobile teams, development teams are going to work on. We had 120 developers a year ago. Capital One bought us, and they outsourced everything historically, everything, as in probably 95%. So our model was insourcing because that's our bread and butter. IT and marketing are our top 2 biggest spenders at the bank, 2 biggest departments. The reason is those are critical functions. You don't want to give away, skill set around banking. Like on my team, I only have game designers working, because I understand a little bit about banking, the processes. Hey guys in the back, if you want to talk, do you mind going up? Because I can just hear echoes. Is that okay? So anyway, but I rather have a game designer that can mock up something extremely cool as opposed to a bank designer. So then we have this appetite, and we roll out the roadmap, and then we work with the lines of businesses, and then there you go. So that's the internal demand. Externally, we had a couple of gentlemen, right, from Samsung here, and whenever they launch a new OS, or Apple does, then that drives demand as well from the customers, right? Take, FaceTime. Well, if I'm in the market for a mortgage, that may be a product that I would like to talk to someone and see their face. I don't want to just do it on the phone or on the desktop because it's a mortgage. It's one of my biggest financial services that I'm getting in my lifetime. I may get 2 or 3 in my life, right, to buy a house. So why would I not be able to use FaceTime? Well, that drives demand for us to start thinking about it. Siri, why would I not get my balance by just saying, Siri, give me my balance? And she would give it to me in my language of choice. Passbook, right? So whenever device manufacturers launches or upgrades their OS, it drives demand for us too. And you can see that here. Don't worry about the text and the ratings, that's not the point. The point is that the customers, they have this incredible demand. So as soon as we launch something, they're like, okay, big deal. What's next? Right? You guys are sure I'm doing the same thing. So we just upgraded our bank app, and we thought we were so cool because we upgraded to 3.1, right? So we're like, yeah. And then this is our first comment. Great. When is the passbook coming up? You know, we're like, damn. Or patrons. Okay, so not you guys, don't worry about it. Our business model is that we are a low-cost operator. I told you we're a different bank, so we don't operate like a bank. We fire 5,000 customers every year. The reason is we're a completely self-service bank. You can either do it on your desktop, tablet, or phone. If you can't do that, then you're not for us. So we tell customers that when they sign up. So if they sign up for a savings account, then we will tell them, we say, hey, Kjell, you just signed up, congratulations, welcome to the family. If you call us more than 4 times, you'll get a yellow card. On the 5th call, you'll get a red card, and I have to send you to Bank of America or Wells Fargo. So we tell the customers up front. And if they do that, which 5,000 people do every year, and we fire them. We say, hey, thanks for trying, you got a red card, see you later. And the reason is they destroy our cost model. So that's approximately how many customers we fire, and our cost model is 1/5 of the rest of the industry. This is one reason why. I'm not saying if you got 3 customers, next week you're going to call them all and say, hey, I'm sorry, but I learned from this banker I should fire my customers. That's not what I'm saying. Okay? I'm going to get some phone calls from Lithuania next week, you know. Hey, I fired all my customers. Awesome. Okay. So, how many of you are familiar with Agile versus Waterfall development methodology? Agile? All right, cool, a few hands. So, listen up. Even if you're a small developer with your own shop, 1 person, 2, 3, 4, 5 or more, there's something in there for you. And I know there's a misspelling in November. You know, guess what? WTF, someone's going to hear about it next week at work. Because someone made this slide for me. So, Agile means that you take one piece of functionality, we do a quick intro. Okay, so in this case, let's say that you have my accounts, you have transfer money, you have pay a bill, right? So you have different key functionalities in your app. And Agile means you plan, you build, develop, test, and finish every module before you go to the next. So in October, we're doing P2P payments, we're planning it, we're building it, we're testing it, and it's ready to go. It's put it in the fridge. Move to November, right? And we do the same thing. With Waterfall, you spend weeks, months planning. This is not representative. This piece should be over here. You do a lot of planning, you code like heck, like you will over the next 48 hours, and then you start debugging it, and you're going to have 2,480 bugs, and you're going to start hammering at it. So that's Waterfall. Agile, you need to embrace. And I know as a small individual developer, if that's what you are, that's how you work. But this requires planning, okay? Just like the hackathon, I've been a judge at a few. You have 48 hours, I would chunk it up and say, okay, this piece here is planning. We're planning for 2 hours. Okay, that's it. And then let's mock it up, okay? So we can all see the end destination, maybe a postcard, so we can see what it may look like. That's what you do for the next 2 hours. Okay, code for 6, take a break. Help with a designer, conceptualize it. You gotta chunk it up. If not, you will not have something meaningful to present in 48 hours. I'm not saying there are not exceptions, so don't take everything like, okay, this is how we have to do it. I'm just saying, 9 out of 10, that's what works. If you want to be the 1 out of 10, feel free to. Does that make sense? What Agile is, all right? Yes? Okay? Agile, fast, Waterfall, slow. Okay? All right, within Agile, there are 3 or 4 components, and this is very disciplined, right? So it's kind of like rowing or kayaking or pedaling. If anyone have done that? I mean, it's incredible how you have to work as a team. I told you I play soccer. You can be an individual and play soccer. It works better when you're a team player. Here, there are no individuals, right? You got to work together. And while Agile is a process-driven process, and by tools and timelines and all that, it still gets down to people. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you have a bad team player, could mess up the whole team, and therefore what you have committed to may not work. Now, what's better, code, live beta code, or going to meetings? Code, all right? So, however, that's why I didn't put any people's faces here, because I didn't want them to be disclosed in public, so you can see who's in meetings. So I use stick figures, just for privacy reasons. You may have to have meetings, and that's cool, but we think code is better, all right? So it is much better to, if you have a contract, which you typically do in the waterfall, the contract will say, in 6 months, I need to deliver a budget app to the Minister of Budget and Wolves. Okay, so you're going to be planning, developing, and then debugging, and then at the end, he's going to come and say, that's not what I had in mind. Well, things are messed up at this point. So what's much better is to say, hey, for every module, remember the modules in Agile? Hey, here's where we're at. Come here, we're going to show you where we're at, and we're good, right? So it's much better to interact with the customer, and maybe internal, external, third party, whatever. And then you have to change. Agile, that's the beauty of Agile. Because if you remember the P2P payment module, and then the bill pay module, transfer money, I may come and say, you know what guys, let's not do a bill pay model, because it's much better if we can launch 1 month earlier for these 2 reasons, right? We have to get out by Christmas, so there could be business reason that says, let's change. And on a waterfall method, you're screwed. That's it, you're stuck. So that's the beauty of Agile, and that's what it means. Agile means you can go in either directions if you have to. Kind of like chess, from what I've heard. I just put it out there because it looked pretty impressive. I can't play chess. Okay, part of Agile is stand-ups. This is probably the most important part. And by the way, the military uses this. I spent a little bit of time in the military. This is why it works. Part of Agile is that you have a team called a sprint team. A sprint team is typically 8 to 10 people. 5 or 6 developers, one called Scrum Master, which is the team lead. 5 or 6 developers, 1 designer, and then 2 or 3 QA folks. Okay? So that's one team. Every morning, the team stands up for 15 minutes or so. And the idea is, what did I do yesterday? What am I going to do today? And what do I need help with? Okay, those are the 3 things. You get 1 minute each. And if you need help, I'm here to help. If someone says, hey, I need a new computer, I need a new phone, I need this, then that's my job, is to go and block and tackle and make sure I get it to them in a few minutes. And what we changed at ING Direct was, I sit with the developers. You know, I don't sit in a, cool office with my feet on the table, although that sounds pretty good now that I say it. You know what, I have to rethink that one. So I sit with the developers, and it's amazing because when they have a question, they go, hey, Kjell, what do you think? And I go, here's the answer. Done. All right, so that's Agile. Therefore, we get to market faster, and we ship functions and features and functionality and quickly, because that's how we operate. Stand up. It's important. This is a book I'm starting to read on the way over here, and I recommend it. It basically talks about how you can be lean, even if you're an individual, or working as an entrepreneur, like I think I do, within a big corporate setting. And it talks about, it gives an example, which is probably better than anything, Snapbacks from Intuit. You guys know Quicken, Intuit? So 3 years ago, they said, you know what? Let's start looking at phones and cameras, see how that could work. Maybe we can have customers file tax returns using the camera. Everything, like from A to Z. And they started working on it, so they came up with a prototype. They followed Agile. They said, well, here's what we're thinking. Let's build this baby. Let's just start, right? And then they got going and they said, okay, this is kind of cool. This could work. Start painting the picture of a customer being able to, have their tax form, take a picture and look happy because they got a refund. So that's like the postcard that you have to paint for management or people that are supporting or for your customer if they're paying for it. Excuse me. And the cycle is basically build, measure, test, right? So that's the cycle. So quick build, measure it, get feedback, customers, internal, external, right? And then learn from it and just keep that cycle going until you're done. All right. You guys know the magazine? It's I call it a big boy magazine. It has a lot of, geopolitical issues, but I like it because it covers the world basically in 20 minutes for me. Because it typically takes the global environment and talks about global issues, and then goes into 5 or 6 countries and describe them real quick. So for me, it's a great magazine to just catch up on individual countries, statuses. But a couple of weeks ago, this one is important, okay? You may not be able to read the first line, but it says that you guys are the most important resource the world has ever seen. Okay? Not me. You. So, right? So think about it. Again, back to the Agile team. You can have a great team, but if you can't function like one and have a great team spirit, then what's the big deal? I don't know if any of you follow football, soccer. I do. 2 weekends ago in the Championships Cup, every big market team lost. Everyone. And guess why? Because the smaller teams are hungrier, they got better team dynamics, and then they have more agile in them than the big market teams. I mean, as a Manchester United fan, I was crying a little bit, but from a soccer perspective, if you will, football, you know, it was awesome to see that all the bottom teams won that round in Champions League. So, talent, my friends. Okay, I'm not going to go through all of them, so I'll just do this like a movie, you know, credit thing. Except you don't have popcorn or soda, you know, and this may not be your best movie ever, but anyway, imagine this was a great movie. Okay, so these are the credits. Okay, so, you know, the team is key, the team commits, and guess what? Our sprint team loves it because they have autonomy. They feel like they're making decisions. They're like, hey, Kjell, we got it. And I trust them. I'm like, you know what? In general, I think you do. So I'm just going to step aside a little bit, and I'm just going to keep a little eye on it. But today, I don't have to necessarily go to all the stand-ups. I do check in. And by the way, our CEO, just for reference, ING Direct is a $100 billion bank from 0 to 100 billion in 11 years. Our CEO has come to several stand-ups just to show up and show that the developers are the new rock stars, they're the new black. You guys are developers that understand the business side are golden for us. Like, I would cry if the 2 or 3 lead on my sprint teams were to leave. I really would. And then I'd go to their house and get them back. All right. Okay, guys. How many designers in the room? Show of hands. Only me. Okay, 10. How many developers, like real developers? All right, and the rest of you are just here because it's fun and it's Friday night? Awesome. Well, sorry. Okay, the next part is going to be about design. I hope you can learn something. If not, come see me tomorrow. I may not be a design guru, but I've learned a few things. I've built 27 apps, mostly designed them. So I think I have a fair feel for simplicity, I hope. So if you want to pick my brains, feel free to while I'm here or later via email. So anyway, for the developers out there, okay? You guys happy now? Okay. I just presented to a banking conference 2 days ago in Stockholm, so I had to put this in. There were like 300 bankers in the room. Imagine every one of you being a banker. And I had pretty much the same clothes, I'm sad to say, different shirt. And they're all students, right? So they're sitting there, and very important, all of them. You know, work for Sweden Bank, Nordic Bank, bank this, bank that. I don't know. You know, I shouldn't say that. Are we streaming? You know what? Take that off. It was awesome. And so I put this up there because it's true. At ING Direct, I told you, I do not hire anyone from any other bank. I have to untrain them. If I hire someone from Bank of America or Wells Fargo, the first thing I have to do is, okay, I got to spend the next year teaching you how not to do it. I'm not going to do that. So I hired game designers because I can teach them the process, and they are going, wow, wouldn't it be cool if I could, you know, Angry Bird money from me to you? And I go, yeah, that would be cool. Why don't you do it? So anyway, so then I have to find a balance between banking and, you know, gamification, which we'll talk a little bit. Cool? All right. So I'm not going to give you examples of bad bank design. Just go to your own bank and you'll see it. Okay. So there are 3 things I'm pretty passionate about. And I use that in my design decisions and in my approach to design. Okay? One of them happens to be motorcycles. Okay? The other one happens to be watches. And then the third one happens to be guns. So all important things when you're presenting at a banking conference. So can you imagine the faces of the bankers when I go, can't you guys see this tied together? banking, guns, watch, and a motorcycle. I mean, can't you see it coming together? They did. Anyway, so, but these things are hobbies and interests that I have, and I've picked things from all these 3 areas, and I'm going to go through each one of them and give you examples. And then in your case, you may have some other interests, or similar ones, and you may start thinking about it. It could be cooking, it could be cars, I don't know. Whatever it is, try to look at something that you enjoy, and then start picking up things and go, wow, it'd be cool if I could apply that to my new app, right? So, ready for motorcycles? Yes. This is cool about it, just in general, just as an interest, like, come on. It is very cool. I don't care if you like motorcycles or not. But it is so cool. What I think is cool is that there is a mechanic, if you will, right? Let's start to say, you know what? I can do that. I can be an artist. He's not trained as an artist, right? He's a mechanic. Sometimes they're metal sheet workers, right? And that's all they know. Can you imagine coming up with this when you're basically working in a metal shop? Well, it's happening. How this applies to banking, I will tell you in a few minutes. Let's look at a couple of bikes first. Okay, is this wicked or what? I mean, can you see, just small thing, if you don't understand bikes, just look how he doesn't have a kickstand, so it just drops the bikes down and it just sits right there. It's awesome. Okay, and then this one, look at the lines, all right? The color is not necessarily mine. I wouldn't do that, but that's okay. The bike itself is totally awesome. So look at the lines, and that's how I approach. If you look at the handlebars, you see no cables there. Why is it that a bike designer can design a bike with no cables, but when we build a financial app, it has to have 200 words on every screen that says legal notice. You are about to transfer money. Are you aware of the fact that my bank will now notify you and you need to check off the privacy and blah, blah, blah. On every damn page. I mean, who the hell? Who the hallelujah wants to do that? But that's the new market, okay? So, one of the biggest design compliments I got from our app a year ago was that there was absolutely no legal language in our bank. Zero. Now that took some work on my part. I had to have the risk and compliance folks on the stand-ups. I told them, you have to come to the stand-ups at least every month for every module because we have something important to show you. The app is not going to have any legal language. I'm going to ship it out. Fire me if you want to. So we end up working together, and they would come to the stand-ups, follow every agile module, and at the end they say, you know what, we're covered. Like, you guys have covered everything we do, and so that was similar to this. And I know you may say, well, it doesn't really relate. Well, it relates in my little head, okay? And that's what I'm trying to tell you is, if you have something you're passionate about, like that, like all the cables are hidden, I'm kind of thinking, you know what, why can't we do that with a legal language in our app? All right, in 1997, Ducati launched it in 1998. Not the first bike with a single swing arm, so a different type of bike, but still motorcycle. And this is a pretty sexy bike, or what? Yes? Good answer. So, but it has a single swing arm, okay? It wasn't the first brand to do it. Moto Guzzi actually invented it, 30, 40 years ago. This is the new $11.99 Panigale that just came out. 400 pounds. What is that? 400 pounds. 196 horsepower. Is that a beast or what? Yeah. Yes. Correct. The answer is correct. So you can see the single swing arm, but more importantly, do you know why it does not have a dual swing arm? Wait. No. But see me later for free drinks. The reason is, when they started racing was, when you race a bike, you get back and swap a tire with the dual swing arm. Imagine someone had to lift it up, take the tire out, pull it back, and it's a 1-minute operation. With a single swing arm, you stop, lift it up, pop it out, new one in, boom, 10 seconds-ish. Okay? So, what the hallelujah does that have to do with mobile? Well, speed. We have a hybrid approach to our bank app. Hybrid meaning 20% native and 80% web-based. So speed, every pixel, I'm going to double check for weight. If it's heavy, if you don't need it, drop it. If it makes for a better user experience, keep it. And it's going in a 20-30% native part that we keep in our app, okay? But the rest of it, get rid of it, so that the content and the features that we launch to our customers are presented as quickly as possible. Okay, weight. The exhaust pipe, they cut them off. Usually they would go up here and under. They cut them off and save 8 kilos. That sounds like a drug dealer, 8 kilos. Is that all you want? No. So, anyway, so that's for weight. Same thing with graphics, right? Cut the weight if you want. And then color. But I need to show you the next slide to demonstrate the colors. Come on. So, color choices. When you design an ad, color has a lot to do with it. In this case, they're using primarily, their lead color is red, but they also use aluminum, if you will, and black as supplemental colors. So while we're not perfect at it, we're trying to approach it with like, you know what, let's have a main color and then sprinkle in 1 or 2, no more. I have a rule, no more than 3. If it's more than 3, and it's not going to be under my watch. Talk about watch. So, does that make sense in a motorcycle? Like, you know, how you can take something and then apply to what you like? So, watches. All right. I think this is kind of cool. Giovanni Panerai in 1868 in Florence said, you know what, instead of pasta today, instead of making pasta, I'm going to make a watch. Or something like that. I don't know if that's exactly how it happened, but it was in 1868. And he started supplying Panerai a few years later to the Italian Navy. And I'm going to talk about how a couple of those things. 308 parts in this baby, okay? Why is it that a watch manufacturer can take 308 parts, okay, and tinker with it, send it to Switzerland maybe, and say, hey, Swiss friends, can you do something with this? And then come out with something as simple as that. Why is it when we have systems, we have web services, we have bank systems, we probably have over 300 systems that I need, right? Our core profile banking system, our mortgage system, our saving account system, right? You know, web services, Java this, and Google that, and whatever, right? And I say it with passion. You guys heard it. So, tons of web services, middleware, but it all comes together. Guys, the watch manufacturers are beating us. I mean, it's insane. But there are a couple of things that I've learned to love from this, and that is corundum. I don't know if you know. And that is, after diamonds is the strongest material in the world. If it's in a perfect condition, that's what they use for the glass, right? You cannot scratch it. So it's a very strong material. And, you know, so these are just a little tidbit. But also, luminova, which is the way they illuminate the numbers, right? For the divers, it's important, you know, in underwater. But also at night, when I wake up and say, my God, is it day or night in Vilnius? Because it sure looks the same. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. So, hey, I grew up above the Arctic Circle in Norway, so, you know, I'm used to even darker weather than this. Trust me. So, But anyway, can you see how they have taken all that complexity and put it in something like this and make it presentable to a customer? I mean, I think it's awesome. Okay, it's just another one, and I threw in, some bullets here just because. All right, there's a local company, Corp. Anyone from here, by the way? I don't know all of them. I think it's Corp. It's a digital media company. So I just found this out as I was researching. Are we good on time, or am I over time or under time? We're good? Cool. If you guys are bored, have a drink. So this is a local company. While they're not a watch manufacturer, I just love the fact that they actually use the watch in their marketing campaign for your local beer. And they actually used digital media and showed how the watch would move just like you would during the brewing process of a beer. I love that. I thought it was awesome. So anyway, kudos to them. You guys have talent locally. If that was obvious. Okay, the next one. Okay, anyone familiar with Beretta? Okay, one. You also want to drink. So I like guns, okay? So, this one, when we say mobile first, this is an example of another industry that said, let's focus on a different market, different approach first. You can imagine a proud Italian company like Beretta saying, you know what, we want to build this baby in Italy, because that's what we'll do. Okay, we'll build it in Italy. So, well, the biggest carry market is in the US, right? Yes, it is. Gun ownership is huge. I have huge. And concealed carry is a big deal in the US. So Beretta wanted to break in on that with a small gun that was perfect for the concealed carry market. Concealed carry, everyone understand? In your pocket, somewhere in a holster, but not, visible to the rest of the public. So 9mm, right? 17 ounces, grams. 682 grams. Skinny mag, meaning they're all on top of each other, so they're single stack. So it makes for a slimmer grip. But polycarbon frame. So the frame, there's only one screw here, as you can see, right? You unscrew that, the whole frame falls off. So the idea is that you can put in a different color frame if you so choose to. Let's say you want to have an Angry Bird frame and you want to carry your Angry Bird with you. So if you're angry all the time, in that case, don't buy the gun. Okay, but some other metaphor, right? A sports team, or a fat one for my fingers, or a pink one if you're a female and that's what you want. I'm not being sexist, I'm just saying color choices. So that's the beauty of the design behind that. And then, how I relate it to banking is, it's actually an ambidextrous mag release. So, in your right hand, you can do it. You pass over to your left hand, you can do it. And that's pretty good design, okay? In terms of approaching gun design. So, because up till now, you have to go to a gunsmith pretty much, unless you're very handy yourself with guns, and say, you know what, I want to move the mag release from my right hand to my left hand because all of a sudden I feel like doing it. So anyway, so those are some of the features in this gun. Plus, they made a barrel 3.5 inches long with they painted it with nitrate. Nitrate provides a 15 to 20 micron layer, and what that does is allows for faster release, and allows for longer shelf life, longer life of the gun, longer life of the barrel, and lower resistance when the bullet leaves the barrel. So, okay, mobile first, less friction, as in customers are going to pick it up and go, you know what, let me charge some money because it's so damn fast, I can do it right or left hand. Seriously. That's kind of like how I thought about it. Like, you know what, phone, I'll do it. When I fill gas in US, I have this game with myself. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna see how quickly I can transfer money. As soon as I start putting the tank in again, I'm like, pull the phone, sign in, transfer money, 27 seconds, awesome, personal best. Okay? All right, so this is what you guys saw a little snapshot of earlier, and these are our previous version of our mobile app. We have since changed it, but I'm going to show you that all these things is what led to this. Can you guys see just how the fact I like motorcycle? I just wanted a little cool stuff in the background, and I know it messes up the color scheme I just told you, but I really wanted something cool, you know. So anyway, so that's why it was there. Now it's gone, but you know, it was cool for a while. And then the 1, 2, 3, that's kind of like the lines of the motorcycles, right? How smooth they are. And I said, you know what? Every process should have 3 steps. Like 1, 2, 3. Sign in, you know, do your deal, goodbye, right? Transfer money, right? How much, to whom, thank you. 3 steps, just like a motorcycle. Sit on it, grab the bar, kickstand up, off you go. 1, 2, 3. So, okay, so then we evolved it and we said, okay, now we have tons more features, right? So the previous one, I don't know if you noticed, but we only had like 4 or 5 features you could do. So it was a little easier. Transfer money, pay a bill, P2P, right? Check your balance. So with 4 or 5 key features, you can be a little bolder and have a little bigger font and a bigger menu, if you will, because it's simpler. But when you start adding features like we do, right? Now we have like the menu, it's like Facebook. You have like 15 choices there. So we had to change our approach to how we menu it, navigation, and the top 3. So on top, we decided these are the top 3 functionalities that we want for our customers, for now. And I got rid of my beloved background. Someone did. And then, but you can see how we try to keep, you know, 2 or 3 colors in play. Okay. So again, on the menu, why is it that we can't give the customer choice, right or left? So guess what we're working on now? The next sprint team is doing a planning session, and they're saying, let's try to plan and figure out how much work it would be to give Kjell the menu on right and left side. So they may come back and say, Kjell, it's going to be 6 months and, you know, 2 teams, and I'm going to go, okay, forget about it. I just had a bad dream and forget about it. Or if they come back and say, you know what, we can do it in 1 month and we think we're going to commit to it. I go, okay, is that? Go for it. All right. This is just to see if you guys are awake. How many devices, smartphones are sold globally? A, B, or C? Just yell it out. A, you guys can leave. B, no one. Awesome. C, just say it. Yeah, 6 billion phones are sold. That's like almost as many people's, right? We're 7 billion on the face of the earth, and hopefully a few more tomorrow morning. But you know, that's a fair number of devices. You guys can develop for all of them. Okay, so we launched Bump. You guys know Bump, the API, and where you can bump names and photos. Okay, so a year and a half ago, we said, because I don't look at banking, you know, necessarily. I'm not worried about what other banks do. I follow, but I'm more worried about what, you know, why Amazon can have 1-click checkout and we can't even give you the damn balance in like 2 clicks, right? So, you know, why is it that Google can search and give you the, you know, 50 answers that quickly, and, you know, if you do it on our app, you know, to check your, you know, accounts, it's like 5 seconds. Why is that? So we're trying to change that. So we launched Bump. I'm going to explain Bump to you. I actually have a video, so let's see if that can roll. Okay.
Bump two phones together and instantly send money from one person to another using electric orange checking. After you sign in, select P2P in the top slider menu and choose Bump. If you're sending a payment, type in the amount and select I'm sending. If you're receiving a payment, select I'm receiving. A window will open and ask you to bump phones. By the way, you don't actually have to bump your phones, just shake them enough to activate the accelerometer. After bumping, choose Yes to send or receive your payment. That's it. You'll see a screen confirming the payment. Your account will now reflect the amount that you bumped.
All right, we were the first bank, yes, in the world that did it. We took that open API, embedded it. PayPal did it, but they're not a bank, they're an e-commerce provider. Legal footnote. So we took that and we embedded it into our bank app. So, you know how sometimes you have to save your job, like once a year you have to do something? Well, last year this was I did to save my job. I was like, Kjell, bump, awesome. This year I have to work a little harder at it. So, but seriously, this was not really about banking, right? It was more about showing technology leadership, which for us as a digital bank was important. So within 60 days, we had 43 million media imprints. Guys, that's 25 million US dollars worth of media. Everyone talks about it, not many people use it. But it's very cool to talk about. All my neighbors, they sign up for our bank account just because of this. I asked them, do you ever bump? They go, no, but it's very cool. Right. Okay, so what's next? You know, I'm going to give you another thing. So this is probably what I have to do over next year. That's PFM. So I'm sure you guys are familiar with PFM, personal financial management. Just think personalized banking or personalized service. Okay, so you know, if I spend it, you know, I should have a way of maybe putting it in a budget while I'm on my phone, as opposed to doing it on desktop, right? So that's kind of like the idea. So personal money management, if you will. Okay, so another big thing is obviously gamification. There's a fine balance in banking between taking care of someone's money and you trust us to do it, and then looking like you're just wasting it and playing. Okay, so that's the balance. But gamification for us would mean something like this. So think how you play a game and you accumulate score or health, right? And then how it's projected, you know, as you got 24 bullets left and 280 health points or something. Okay, so this is the new look of Capital One. With ING Direct, orange is going away, and this is our new look and feel. So just you know, blink your eyes and go, whoa, that's kind of like a new looking app, and it's true. You're not tired. It is the Capital One look. So imagine if you just transfer money, and then for engagement, maybe we give you reward points, because guess what? Capital One has a credit card with reward points. That's huge, not only in the US, I believe, but everywhere, right? We give rewards for credit card spending. So why would we not give someone, say, 10 reward points for transferring money? Because they may go, you know what? I want 10 more. Let me transfer some more. Or pay a bill and you get 20, right? So that's how you drive engagement without coming across as gaining with someone's money, I think. I'm just sharing some concepts that I shouldn't be, because this is what's coming for us. But I didn't want to come here and go, well, you know, I wish I could tell you, you know, something cool, and that's it. So anyway, for some mobile, you know, checklist, if you will, mental checklist, right? Look at this. You know, we do a lot of how-to videos. The video you just saw with Bump, we're not doing FAQs anymore. We're doing how-to videos, 45 seconds long. How-to, how do I do Bump? How do I do P2P? How do I do this? How do I transfer money? Etc. All right? Because that's the new word, 45-second video. And we're now embedding them in our app. So when you're like, oh, Bump, what is that? Boom, you want to watch the video? Yes, and then it's playing, and you're good. But the bottom one is the big one. I had the opportunity to work closely with our CEO on several occasions, and he's also very much into design. And at the end of every design review, he would say, Kjell, would you really use it? And if I look like this, yeah, I would. He goes, no, you wouldn't. So then he goes, okay, leave, or something to that effect. But if he looks at you and goes, would you use it? And I go, yes. He goes, okay, go with it. Like, that's the litmus test. Would I use it? And would I tell my friends about it? Because social currency is kind of important, right? I may say, okay, I won't use it, but would I tell you about it? Or you? I don't know. You know, but if the answer is yes, I can't wait to tell you about it, then you have something good going. All right, I know we're running over time, but I have so much to share. Okay, so future. So you guys can look like this guy, which is okay, right? Nothing wrong with that. But, you know, I can teach you how to change your look. If you pay attention over the next 6 minutes. Do I have 6 minutes? I know I'm over. Awesome. The judge just said yes. So, you do not have to go to plastic surgery. All right? I promise you. Just focus. Eyes on the screen. Eyes on the prize. All right. If you do that, then a year from now, when I come back, you will be potentially this guy. And if you're a superwoman instead, if you want to be that, insert your own graphic on that side. Okay, cool. All right, so. Is that me? Or is someone? Okay, that's not me. All right, so listen, there are a lot of big words, and I went to the banking conference, and I mean, it's always funny to go, and they all come up and they talk about cloud computing, and I'm like, well, but how does that work if the US regulator says we have to host it on site? Well, all right, game over. So, all right, next. So a lot of big words out there. I call them big words because it's always fun. But personalization, right? That's important, right? Personalize it, right? Apple App Store, take a picture of, my screen, and you like to personalize it, right? Because you have your own preferences. I want gun apps, motorcycle apps, and watch apps. Okay, that's what I want. And sports apps and some other stuff. You have your stuff, so it's important to personalize. And then you heard big data, right? The minister talked about enabling big data, and then he left. I mean, you have to open it up, right? So I think it's a great start that he said, okay, we have weather data, we have some other data that can be publicly available, and I think that's awesome. That's how you get started. But you have to have an API platform to enable that, because otherwise, I don't think you'll ever get in business unless you have a meaningful platform to serve all that big data on to you guys so you can take advantage of it. Okay, I threw this up purely because Yuri was there for Groupon. But local offers, right? Right, that's important. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't mind getting a local offer that could teach me how to save money on time, right? If it wasn't too much bother, right? If I got a buzz or something say, you know what, there's a sale on this store and gun shop, and they have the new Beretta Nano at $495, what do you want it? I'll go, oh yeah, or something like that. So, cloud computing, right? And you guys, I don't know if this is live, or I found a screenshot of a local payment system, right? So, obviously payment, but that's a whole day itself, right? Do you guys agree? Mobile payment is like a whole different word. I talk about design and a process of how to get design done faster, but it's a whole day on mobile banking. Trust me. I'll be happy to do it. I'm just saying it's a whole new session. So APIs. Okay. So is it happening? Yes. If you're not doing it now, then you're late. As a bank, that's still very early, right? When I mention APIs and I'm pitching this, for a new team in the bank, everyone's like, whoa, what's an API? It's like, okay, don't get a headache. Let me explain. Sit down, have some water, right? Here's a pill. And but we're getting there. And if you're a startup and you do not have an API strategy, you shouldn't get funded. You shouldn't. Because there's no way you can scale. Okay, let me take it back. Spin back 8 seconds. The odds of succeeding are 10x with an API strategy versus if you do not have it. My son is in the Valley right now, and he's launching a company, and I've been working with him on his API strategy, and he's like, Dad, I got it. Yeah, I know you do, you little shit. But let me tell you, okay? Let me tell you that, here's what we're gonna do, right? So, you can see some of these companies, how they use APIs just for general consumption. And I know I'm way over time, but how many countries is iTunes in? This is just a health check, see if you wait. A, B, or C? Yes, 63. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me do this. I have to show you this because this is unbelievably cool. All right. So, guys, I told you I'm trying to sell the API strategy. Oh, you killing time? Awesome. That was like 0.2 seconds. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna fill in with music. So, okay, so at IND Direct, can you imagine a bank go, we need to have an API strategy because we want to involve third-party developers from Lithuania. Whoa, whoa, what are you talking about, son? So I started selling the concept. We're almost there. I think we are getting a budget for next year. This is the video I put together to sell it internally to executives. Does that make sense? It's not really for public consumption because there is some very legal graphics in there. And trust me, my cousin lives in China, I got it for me. It's good. And so, this is what it is, all right? 2 minutes, bear with me. But again, a sales video to get a budget so I can come here to Lithuania and build a developer zone as one of the competitions tomorrow, okay? This is why. Watch. Okay, so this we use as a sales tool internally. People are liking it, they're starting to understand it. I'm here. One of the competitions I brought with me was, I need your help to build a developer zone. And the idea would be that how do we attract developers so they would come and say, you know what, that bank and that dude from IND there, it's kind of cool, I wouldn't mind checking it out. And maybe see if we can develop for the 20 million mobile customers that we're going to have next year. Capital One has 70 million customers, 45 million active, and we hope to have 20 million by next year or mobile customers. So as a developer, you may say, well, you know, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is, I would say, you know what, I'll let you launch your feature within our app, and you can charge $1. Like 1 million people uses it to say, you know what, this is kind of cool, then you can do your own math. Okay, so anyway, so that's one of the projects I have. I probably don't have time to go through the projects, but so should I end it? I have to do a check. Done? Wrap it up? Okay. I have so much information. Don't know how to do it. Okay, so 2 minutes and then I'm gonna finish. So, hackathon. Okay, I promise. And then listen, if you're bored, please leave. I'm not gonna hold that. Unless I have to. So basically, we did a hackathon, but you guys are doing it big time. We just did it internally a year ago, but I'm going to show you the power of what you guys are doing. You guys know that already, but it's always good to get validation. Don't you think sometimes you're like, okay, what the heck am I going to app camp for 48 hours? Okay, well, there's some prize money, right? Some guy from a bank, blah, blah, blah. All right, great. I'm going to show you internally. Imagine people just spending their time, right? There was no prize money internally, so, but it's awesome for engagement, right? Our developers loved it. So we did it a year ago, okay? Excuse me. And we said, give us a bank feature. I don't want to tell you exactly what, but it's going to be something the bank can use, right? Something with savings, something that would be fun with savings, all right? So that was the rails we said. Other than that, it has to fit eventually in our bank app, but just give us some cool stuff for savings. Okay, so we had 30 developers, one team from remote, from California. We're based on the East Coast, Philadelphia. And then one of them, so we had eight teams. And then the good thing I did was I asked 2 senior VPs to be judges. It's always cool to have like executive judges, because they came in and they're like, oh, what's a hackathon? So, well, you know, it's a thing where we get people together and they do cool shit, right? So, oh, I get that. Something like that. So, that's a VP right there, no names mentioned. And so these are the 8 ideas, and I'm going to show you the winner. Okay? I'm not. So let me see if I can fast forward. Bear with me. Okay, here's the one. All right. So, okay. Oh no. Yeah. There you go. Okay. So out of that, this is what came out of it. It didn't look like this out of the hackathon. It was only a day and a half, but it was the framework was there. Does that make sense? Someone said, well, it'd be cool if you had a savings goal tracker and be like our logo, the orange ball, and then you could track how many days you have left to your savings goal. You know, so that was the concept. So they came up with the framework, and then we spent some time on the design. We ended up with this, and we launched within 3 months. Okay? Guys, if any of what I just told you tonight does not work, this is the formula. And I will click one more time. Okay. So, don't call me and go, hey, you know, unless you try this as a last reserve, all right? Okay? Cool. All right, so if you want to stand up, at least mentally, let's do this together, and I'm going to do it, but if you don't have room to stand up, just mentally do this, because I learned this is what you do for good luck and wish. So close your eyes, mentally spin around 3 times, and then wish for a fantastic 48-hour app camp here with Lithuania, and good luck to all of you. All right, I'm going to do it. I wish for great team synergy and a good solution for the projects that I'm doing. All right, there you go. You do your own. Thank you.